Hello, I'm Graham Martin, I'm the Recruitment Guy. For those of you who've never seen me before, I've got 25 years at the sharp end of recruitment. For those of you a little bit more familiar with my work, I've got a whole bunch of videos on YouTube that talk about how to get employed, to write CVs, how to crush the interview, brilliant interview tips, and of course I'm very interested in individual personalities, and to that end for nearly 15 years now I've been using a tool called DISC via Thomas International, which is a psychometric profiling tool. Increasingly though, I've been thinking about its inaccessibility to general members of the public to actually go into it and use it as a tool for their own personal development. And then, as these things do, I met a guy called James Knight, a lovely guy from America. He's developed a concept called IMA, I-M-A, and you can find the website ima-localworld.com. And I suggest you go to that. It's a very short video, it takes about 2-3 minutes just to listen to what James is talking about, and then to complete again a very brief 2-3 minute questionnaire which will give you an understanding of your personality type there and then, whether you're a high red, a yellow, a blue and a green. And whilst these relate in many ways to psychometric profiling personality types, it gives you the tool to understand in a blink your communication style and the things that are important to you. And in fact, if you get a bunch of friends together and they all do it, you'll soon start to build up a picture of what their personality types are as well. So it's good fun, but it's a really good tool for use at school, college and at work. And in fact, if you engage with James, he might be inclined to send you some really good information. You can see them basically here, but it explains exactly what your personality type is and indeed how you need to interact with other people. So I'm just going to give you a basic flavour. So if you're a typical high red, and that tends to be an assertive, driven kind of individual, and what we'd probably call a high D in psychometric profiling terms, well, you know, if we look at a very, very quick overview, high reds at a glance, their behaviour is self-confident and self-contained. The priority is the task, and the speciality is being in control. We all know people like that, don't we? And under stress, what do those people do? Well, they tend to be restless, critical, a bit aggressive, maybe even pushy. And their characteristics tend to be decisive, solving problems, fast, impatient pace. And what do they need? They need tangible evidence of progress and process. Now, what does a high red need to do to get on with the rest of the world? Well, they need to practice active listening. Most reds want to just kind of crush through, get the job done. But sometimes other people are not quite with them and they need to be given a little bit more consideration. So if you're a high red, or you know a high red, this IMA tool will work wonders. It will give you an understanding of why 75% of the time we're failing to communicate effectively just because we're not getting in those people's worlds, not in their language. Now, we could look at a high yellow, we could look at a high blue or a high green. But let's just take a high green now for a moment. This individual, their behaviour tends to be self-contained and non-assertive, as opposed to the red being very assertive. Their speciality is process and systems. Accountants, technical people, people in engineering tend to be the high greens. And what about under stress? What they're like? Well, they tend to be very over-reliant upon data. It all comes down to the principles and the information they've got at their fingertips. They can be withdrawn. They can also, under pressure, struggle to work to meet deadlines. And what's the behavioural characteristic of a high green? Well, they tend to be very serious, persistent, orderly, perfectionists. They ask people to show me, so they want evidence and proof. They can also be critical of performance, but also quite diplomatic, quite careful. Whereas the high red, as you probably expect, is a bit of a bull in a china shop and doesn't always think about other people's feelings. And indeed, to increase effectiveness, a high green needs to try to adjust more readily to change and perhaps state unpopular decisions more clearly rather than fudging them. I could go on and on. This is a really important, very, very useful tool. I urge you to check it out. ima-localworld.com. And if you're interested in taking it further as an associate or an affiliate, go to the site, go to the IMA site, engage with James Knight. He's a lovely fella. I'm sure he'll get back to you in person. So there you go. Personality profiling in colours. Doesn't get better than that. Bye for now.